Your soulmate is ready to reveal why they never let you go. My beloved child, don't skip, because what you are about to hear has been locked away for longer than you realize. There is a reason this message found you today instead of yesterday, and there is a reason your heart slowed down the moment you saw these words. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. A truth has been standing quietly between you and your soulmate, hidden behind silence, distance, and moments that never seem to make sense. You may have believed they walked away. You may have wondered if they forgot. But what if every step backward was secretly pulling them closer? What if every unanswered question was protecting a revelation that could only be spoken when the timing was right? Listen carefully, because your soulmate is finally ready to reveal why they never let you go. They carried your name in conversations they never finished. They searched for pieces of you in places where you had never been. Even when life pushed both of you toward different roads, there was something inside them refusing to close the door. They smiled in front of others, yet every quiet night ended with the same thought returning again and again. The connection never disappeared. It simply waited in silence until the truth became impossible to hide. Before this story reaches its turning point, promise yourself one thing: don't skip. The next few moments explain everything that once felt confusing. Your soulmate remembers a moment you probably considered ordinary, yet to them it changed everything forever. It wasn't a dramatic goodbye. It wasn't a perfect confession. It was something much quieter. The way you listened when no one else did. The way you stayed calm while everyone else judged them. The way you unknowingly gave them hope during a season when they had already stopped believing in people. They never admitted it because they were afraid those feelings would make them vulnerable. Instead, they built walls so high that even they forgot why they created them. But every wall has a crack, and today those cracks are becoming impossible to hide. They have reached a place where pretending no longer feels easier than telling the truth. Deep inside, they know that if they remain silent any longer, they may lose the one person whose presence has quietly shaped every important decision they have made. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you, and this is only the beginning of what they have been desperate to say. Now the silence begins to break. Imagine your soulmate standing in front of a door they have been too afraid to open for what feels like forever. Behind that door are every unsent message, every unfinished sentence, every emotion they convinced themselves to ignore. Today, that door starts opening. The first words they want you to hear are not an apology, they are a confession. They never let you go because every attempt to replace your presence failed before it even began. They met new faces, entered new places, and chased new distractions, yet every road somehow reminded them of the person they kept trying to forget. The more they ran, the clearer your importance became. They finally realized that some connections are not measured by constant conversations but by the impossible feeling of being complete without the other person. And that realization has brought them to a decision they cannot delay anymore. They are preparing to reveal the one reason they protected this truth for so long. A reason connected to a moment neither of you expected, a moment that will completely change the way you understand everything that happened between you. Don't skip, because what comes next is the secret they believed could never be spoken aloud, and once it is revealed, nothing about this story will ever feel the same again. A moment is approaching that your soulmate has replayed in their mind more times than they could ever count. They have imagined saying these words while looking into your eyes, but every single time, fear stole their voice before the truth could escape. Don't skip, because the next revelation changes everything you thought you understood. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. The reason they never let you go was never about chance, loneliness, or convenience. It was because every important chapter of their life somehow carried your shadow. Whenever they celebrated a victory, they wished you had seen it. Whenever they faced disappointment, your memory became the quiet place where their heart searched for comfort. They tried convincing themselves that time would erase those feelings, but time did the opposite. Every passing season made them realize your value more deeply. They watched people come and go, promises appear and disappear, yet one thing never changed: the feeling that the story between you was still unfinished. They kept telling themselves, maybe tomorrow I'll say it. Maybe next week I'll finally explain everything. But tomorrow always became another excuse. Now they understand that silence has already stolen enough time, and they refuse to let it steal the future as well. That is why they are finally gathering the courage to reveal what has remained hidden for so long. The truth is far more powerful than anyone around them ever imagined, and once those words are spoken, every confusing moment from the past will begin falling into place like pieces of a puzzle that were never actually missing. There is another secret they have never shared with anyone. Every time someone asked about moving on, they smiled as though they already had, but inside, they quietly compared every new beginning to the peace they only felt with you. No one noticed it because they became an expert at hiding emotions behind ordinary conversations. Yet late at night, when the world became silent, the mask disappeared. They remembered the smallest details, the conversations that seemed meaningless at the time, the laughter that arrived without effort, the encouragement that came exactly when they needed it most. Those memories refused to fade because they were built on something genuine instead of something temporary. Don't skip. Because this is where the hidden reason begins to surface. Your soulmate finally realized they were never holding on to the past, they were holding on to the person who inspired the best version of themselves. That realization frightened them because it meant admitting they had been protecting feelings they could no longer deny. Every delay, every hesitation, every quiet step backward came from one fear: what if they revealed everything and discovered it was already too late? But something unexpected has changed inside them. Fear is losing its grip, while hope grows stronger with every passing day. For the first time in a long while, they believe honesty is worth the risk, even if their voice trembles when the moment finally arrives. Now everything is leading toward the conversation they once believed would never happen. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate is no longer asking whether they should reveal the truth. They are deciding how to reveal it. They know their confession cannot be rushed because it carries years of unspoken emotions, unanswered questions, and silent promises. They want you to understand that every distance had a reason, every pause carried a lesson, and every delay prepared them to become someone capable of protecting what truly matters instead of running from it. They have finally accepted that letting you go was never possible because your presence became part of the person they were becoming. That is the truth they have hidden from everyone else. But there is one final piece they have not revealed yet. A single moment from the past changed their heart forever, and they have never told anyone what really happened that day. When that hidden memory is finally uncovered, you will understand why they chose silence instead of goodbye, why they never closed the door between you, and why the next words they are preparing to speak could change the direction of this entire story forever. Everything has been leading to this moment. Don't skip, because the memory your soulmate has protected for so long is finally beginning to surface. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Long before anyone noticed the distance between you, there was a single day that quietly changed everything inside them. It wasn't the loudest moment of their life. No one around them realized its importance. But while everyone else moved on as if nothing had happened, your soulmate carried that moment with them every single day afterward. They remember the way your words gave them strength when they felt like giving up. They remember the calm they felt simply knowing you existed. That feeling refused to disappear, even when life became complicated. They convinced themselves that keeping their emotions hidden would protect both of you, yet every attempt to bury those feelings only made them grow stronger. They began noticing strange reminders everywhere, places that reminded them of your conversations, songs that brought back forgotten emotions, ordinary days that somehow felt incomplete without thinking of you. They stopped asking themselves why they couldn't let go because the answer had become painfully clear. You were never just another chapter in their story. You became the reason they believed some connections are meant to survive silence, distance, and time itself. That realization is exactly why they are standing on the edge of a confession they can no longer hold back. There is something even more surprising that they have never admitted. Not to their family, not to their closest friends, not even to themselves until recently. Every important decision they made carried one silent question: would this bring me closer to the future I once imagined with them? They never said those words aloud because they feared sounding foolish. Instead, they hid behind excuses, telling everyone they were simply focusing on themselves. But deep inside, they were waiting for the courage to face the truth. Don't skip. Because the next revelation explains why their heart kept returning to you no matter how far life seemed to pull them away. They finally realized they weren't waiting for the perfect timing. They were waiting to become the person they believed you deserved. Every setback taught them patience. Every disappointment made them stronger. Every lonely season reminded them that real connections cannot be replaced by temporary distractions. And now, after carrying this weight for so long, they are beginning to understand that silence has cost them more than honesty ever could. The walls they spent years building are starting to crumble, and behind those walls is a truth that has been waiting for this exact moment to be spoken. Now your soulmate is closer than ever to revealing everything. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They have reached the point where hiding their feelings no longer feels safe. In fact, the truth has become louder than the fear that once controlled them. They keep imagining what will happen when they finally tell you why they never let you go, and every possibility leads to the same conclusion: they would rather risk being completely honest than spend another day wondering what could have been. But there is still one final secret they haven't revealed. One unexpected event happened shortly before they made this decision, and it completely changed the direction of their heart. It wasn't planned. It wasn't something anyone could have predicted. Yet from that very moment, they knew they could no longer remain silent. That hidden event is the missing piece of the entire story, and once it is revealed, you will finally understand why they are ready to speak now instead of walking away forever. The silence is finally reaching its limit. Don't skip. Because this is the moment your soulmate has been quietly preparing for without anyone realizing it. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. The unexpected event that changed everything wasn't dramatic on the outside, but inside, it felt like an entire lifetime shifted in a single heartbeat. One ordinary day, they heard someone ask a simple question: if you could relive one chapter of your life, what would you choose? Everyone around them answered quickly, laughing as they shared memories. But your soulmate couldn't answer. Their mind traveled straight to you. In that instant, they realized every version of their happiest future had one thing in common: you were always there. It didn't matter where they imagined themselves living or what dreams they achieved. Without you, every picture felt incomplete. That realization stayed with them long after the conversation ended. They stopped pretending that their feelings were temporary, because temporary feelings don't survive years of silence. Temporary feelings don't become stronger after distance. They finally accepted that what they had been carrying all this time was real, and from that day forward, they quietly began preparing themselves to reveal everything. Every fear that once seemed impossible to overcome suddenly looked much smaller than the regret of never telling you the truth. They no longer wanted another season to pass with unanswered questions. They wanted clarity, honesty, and the chance to finally let their hearts speak without hiding behind excuses. As the days passed, something else began happening that they could no longer ignore. They noticed how often your name entered their thoughts without warning. A familiar place would remind them of your smile. A random conversation would remind them of your kindness. Even the smallest victories felt unfinished because they imagined how different they would have felt if you had been there to witness them. Don't skip, because this is where everything begins to connect. They realized they had spent so much time protecting themselves from rejection that they accidentally protected themselves from happiness too. That truth hit harder than they expected. Instead of asking, "What if they don't understand me?" they started asking, "What if I lose the chance to tell them what has always been true?" From that moment, their hearts stopped looking backward and started looking forward. They began imagining a future built on honesty instead of silence. They understood that every meaningful connection requires courage, and courage is finally replacing fear. For the first time, they feel ready to stand before you without pretending, without hiding, and without allowing uncertainty to write the ending of a story that still has so much left to unfold. Now there is only one final step before the truth can no longer be hidden. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate has already made the decision that once felt impossible. They are no longer wondering whether they should tell you. They are choosing the right moment to reveal everything that has lived inside their heart for so long. They know their words will answer questions you have carried for far too long. They know those words will explain the distance, the silence, the hesitation, and the reason they never truly walked away. But there is still one last revelation they have been saving until the very end. It is not just about why they never let you go. It is about the promise they quietly made to themselves the day they realized your place in their life could never be replaced. That promise has guided every important choice they have made since then, and when they finally share it with you, you will understand why this journey was never about losing each other. It was always about finding the courage to return to the truth that had been waiting from the very beginning. The moment they have avoided for so long is no longer in the future. It is almost here. Don't skip, because what your soulmate is about to reveal is the one truth they believed they would carry forever without saying aloud. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. They remember making a quiet promise to themselves during one of the most uncertain seasons of their life. No one heard those words. No one knew that promise even existed. They simply looked ahead and decided that if life ever gave them another opportunity to be honest, they would never waste it again. From that day forward, they stopped asking whether you would understand them and started asking whether they were brave enough to finally be understood. Every experience after that strengthened their resolve. Every challenge reminded them that genuine connections are too valuable to leave buried beneath fear. They finally accepted something they had resisted for years: you were never someone they wanted to leave behind. You became the person whose absence taught them the value of presence. The silence between you wasn't proof that the connection had disappeared. It was proof that emotions too deep for ordinary words were waiting for the right moment to be expressed. Now that moment is closer than ever, and they can feel it with every passing day. The closer they move toward this confession, the more impossible it becomes to hide what their heart has been protecting. Ordinary conversations no longer feel ordinary because every sentence reminds them of what they truly want to say. They have imagined hundreds of different beginnings, yet every version leads to the same simple truth: they never let you go, because letting go would have meant denying the most genuine feeling they had ever experienced. Don't skip. Because this changes the meaning of everything that came before. The distance was never the ending. The silence was never rejection. The waiting was never because you weren't important. It was because they believed a confession this meaningful deserved courage instead of haste. They wanted to stand before you with certainty rather than confusion, with honesty instead of hesitation. That is why they spent so much time growing, learning, and understanding themselves. Today, they no longer see fear as something that controls them. They see it as the final obstacle standing between them and the future they have quietly imagined for so long. Every heartbeat is pushing them closer to speaking the words they once believed would remain hidden forever. Now everything depends on the next step they choose to take. Stay till the end, because something huge is waiting for you. Your soulmate knows there will never be a perfect moment where every uncertainty disappears. They finally understand that the right moment is created by courage, not by perfect circumstances. That realization has transformed everything. They are ready to tell you why they never let you go, why every road somehow led their heart back to the same place, and why they refused to close a chapter that still felt unfinished. But there is one final truth they have deliberately saved until the very end of this journey. It is the one sentence they have repeated silently more than any other, the sentence that explains every delay, every silent hope, and every choice they made when no one was watching. Once those words leave their heart, nothing will remain hidden. The answers you have been searching for will finally come together, and you will understand that this story was never built on coincidence. It was built on a truth that refused to disappear, no matter how much time passed. And when that final confession is spoken, the reason they never let you go will become clearer than it has ever been before.